Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me today for our information session about the Post-Baccalaureate Studies program here at the University of Pennsylvania. First, I want to introduce myself. My name is Jaime Kelly, and I am the Director of Certificate and Non-Degree Programs here at the University of Pennsylvania. And I have the good fortune of working with several programs, one of which is the Post-Baccalaureate Studies program at Penn. So our goal of this session is to familiarize you with the program, and ideally by the end, you'll have a good sense of what the post-bac program is at Penn and if it makes sense for you. So there's three parts of our agenda. The first is figuring out what is the Post-Baccalaureate Studies program. Next is what is it like to be a student in the program? And then lastly, what can I do with the program? So if you can enter into the chat where you're joining us from and the subject that you're most interested in studying at Penn, that would be great. It would be very helpful for me at the end when we do our question and answers. Something I want to mention right off the bat is that there are other post-baccalaureate studies programs at Penn, and one of the most popular program is the pre-health program. And I want to mention that because sometimes people come to our post-bac program when they're actually looking for the pre-health program. So if you think that might be you, these things will be helpful to you. The pre-health program at Penn is designed for students that are preparing for medical, dental, and veterinary school primarily. And this is they offer certificate programs, either for people that are doing a full career change or people that are looking to take more advanced courses to qualify for these programs. The certificates take 8 to 15 courses to complete, and there are so many wonderful resources available to students. There's advisors that specialize in preparing for these types of programs. There's medical school interview prep and research opportunities. Wonderful program and perfect if you meet that criteria. On the other hand, the Post-Baccalaureate Studies program at Penn, the one that I'm here to talk about, is far more customizable. And the students in our program will talk about why they're here, but the number one reason is that the students are preparing for graduate school. So if you are here for the pre-health program, you can certainly stay and listen, but I also would recommend that you check out that page and learn more about the program. The Post-Baccalaureate Studies program at Penn has over 400 gifted students who already have at least a bachelor's degree that want to take primarily undergraduate level classes at Penn. The students are composed of recent college graduates, full-time working professionals, someone who has a bachelor's degree already, master's degree, PhD, a whole spread. Many of our students come from the Philadelphia area, and a lot of them are recent college graduates, but we have students join our program from all over the world and at all walks of life. Our program is also incredibly customizable, and now I'll talk about the three most popular reasons why people join our post-bac program. The first reason is career advancement. So if you're looking to take a writing course, graphic design course, a coding course, just to increase your value to your current employer or future employers, this would be the right program to do that in. Next, I mentioned before, is preparing for graduate school. That's the number one reason people come to this program, and that could be for a master's or a PhD program, even a professional program, to make yourself a strong candidate for that program through a combination of taking prerequisite courses, maybe even dabbling in some few graduate courses, doing some research at Penn, all of those things that will help make you a strong candidate. And lastly, there's personal enrichment. So students that are looking to take classes for pleasure, they are also welcome in our Post-Baccalaureate Studies program. We offer over 50 areas of study within our program, and I will drop in here a link to the course roster at Penn. I really want you to look beyond the courses that are included on the College of Liberal and Professional Studies website. You certainly can take those classes, but students in our program take undergraduate courses in the School of Arts and Sciences during the day. They take classes in other schools at Penn. In fact, the University of Pennsylvania has 12 schools, and our students have taken classes in almost all of those schools. You, as a student in this program, can take classes at the course level 599 and below. So when you look at the course roster on the main Penn website, that's something to keep in mind as you look for classes. And another wonderful addition to these classes are the Penn LPS online certificates, which launched a year and a half or 2 years. These certificates are open to post-bac students to complete, and these certificates are 4 to 5 courses, and I'll drop the link here as well. Now, I will say that most students in our program are studying part-time and working, but we do have a good number of students studying full-time as well. There are daytime classes, evening classes, and a growing number of online classes at Penn. So I want to talk a little bit about the resources that you'll have at Penn, and the most important resource is academic advising. You are not on your own when you come to the University of Pennsylvania. In fact, soon after you accept your offer of admission, you will receive a welcome email from your academic advisor walking you through the steps you need to get started at Penn and inviting you for your first academic advising session. Now, if you were to be meeting with me, something that I like to do is talk about your academic background, your goals, and if you've already identified, let's say, graduate programs you want to apply to, we'll get started working on your plan to complete those courses while you're at Penn. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to come in with a plan. There are plenty of people exploring different options, and we can talk about that as well. We'll have new student orientations every fall and spring, so you get to know other students with similar interests and find out more about the university. We have our own Facebook group where students can communicate with each other. And we also have launching this spring, we've always done graduate school prep, but we are doing a month-long graduate school prep workshop every fall and spring for students. So we'd love to have you join that if you are interested. And then there are the university resources. So for my bachelor's degree, I went to a small undergraduate institution that I loved. But when I came to Penn to work and study, I was blown away by the resources that this university has. I've been at Penn for over 8 years, and I still discover new resources for students, and I think that's just amazing. So some of the things we do within our program is we have chats about once a month, and we talk about different topics that have been suggested by students. Students get to learn more about Penn and the resources, and they also get to know each other. There is the Writing Center, which is a great place to go if you have to write papers, and let's say it's been a bit since you've written an academic paper. I encourage you to check in with them and get assistance with your paper. The Tutoring Center is another fabulous resource, and I highly recommend it for anyone taking courses in math or the sciences, etc. That's a free resource that's available to you. Weingarten Learning Resources Center, I think, is particularly valuable to students that are just trying to figure it out. You've maybe got work going on, family, school. It's a lot to juggle, and they can help you with time management and scheduling so that you can be successful. The University of Pennsylvania libraries are incredible, and I do say libraries. There are so many of them, and the online resources too. You never have to step foot in them if you don't want to. There's so many resources available to students. Another resource that is widely used by post-baccalaureate students is the Center for Undergraduate Research and Fellowships. And many of our students use that group to find research opportunities so that they can conduct research while taking classes at Penn, often making them a very strong candidate for graduate programs. There are a multitude of speakers and events happening within the university on a daily basis, so you'll have plenty of things to attend. And then, of course, clubs and organizations. So those are just a few resources that I want to highlight. There's so many more, and truly, I say you can sort of be a sponge and you can soak all of these things up and enjoy them. Or if you just want to take a class and you've got a lot going on, that's okay as well. So I want to talk about what the experience of a student looks like in this program. So some students are just part-time, maybe taking 1, 2, or 3 classes a semester. A full-time student will be taking 4 classes a semester. Something that is worth knowing is that most classes at Penn are one course unit, and that'll tie in when we look at the tuition and fees. But that's sort of the Penn system, and a course unit is equal to 4 credit hours. Again, many students are participating in research while they take classes. The student would be attending talks and getting to know graduate students and faculty to help advise them about field-specific information and maybe the next steps in their career. They would also be meeting other students. So when you're in the classroom, you could have traditional undergraduates with you, post-bac students, maybe even at some 400 and 500 level classes, some graduate students. So a lot of people that you'll get to know at Penn. And another question that I get a lot is, how long is the program? And I said it's customizable. For some students, they need 2 classes and they take it in 1 semester, and that's how long they need to study. Most people do stay longer than that. We've had students here for 2 years taking classes, and that can happen if you're studying part-time. As long as you take at least 1 class a year, you will remain active in the Post-Baccalaureate Studies program. Wanted to share as well some popular fields of study within the program. Thought that would be helpful. And next, I want to talk about tuition and fees and what the application involves. So I mentioned course units, and the prices that I put here are per course unit, which again, in most cases means 1 class. The exceptions to that are often the lab components of science classes. The labs are usually are often, I should say, an additional half course unit. You can always email us to ask. A tuition is based upon where the class is based. So on the College of Liberal and Professional Studies website, you'll see the LPS classes, and you see there that the tuition is significantly lower than the tuition for classes taken outside of the College of Liberal and Professional Studies. For example, other schools at Penn or daytime classes in the School of Arts and Sciences. And then lastly are the Penn LPS online classes that I spoke about, and those classes can lead to a certificate if you complete specific courses within that program, and you'll see that that is the lowest of the 3 tuitions that are there. And of course, when it comes to tuition and fees, the next thing is how to pay for the classes. The most popular way to pay for classes, we do have a good number of students that have tuition benefits or reimbursement, which is wonderful. So that does help them pay for classes. Do look to see if your employer offers that, if you are a working professional. But the university also offers a payment plan in the fall and spring semesters that breaks down your payment into 4 or 5 payments over 4 or 5 months. And a lot of students find that very helpful. So that's an option for you as well. I should add that federal aid is not available to non-degree programs. So I don't recommend submitting a FAFSA. You do want to be conscientious about what classes you select and preparing to pay for those classes. And now the application. So the application requires 3 things. The first, we need your resume. And the reason we ask for that is that some of you have been out of school for some time or have a lot more going on in your life than just your education, and we want to learn about you. Next are essays, and there are 2 essay questions for our program. And then last are transcripts. And we need your transcripts from any schools that you previously attended. That will help us review your application. We accept applications in the fall and spring and summer semesters, so 3 times a year. And it's on rolling admission, which means that you can apply for any of the semesters that are open, and you'll receive a decision in just a few weeks. So it'll help you with deciding what you're going to be doing next. If you apply, 2 months in advance versus on the deadline, it's not going to affect how your application is reviewed. We review them the same no matter when you apply. But if you apply sooner and you're ready to do so, you're probably going to be able to register for classes sooner because registration opens far sooner than our deadline to apply, and start figuring out the financials as well. So I don't recommend waiting until the last minute to apply, although you can if you don't mind having maybe slightly less choices in terms of classes. We are looking for students with at least a 3.0 GPA. We're looking for answers to the essay questions that show that you've done your research about the program and Penn. We're not expecting in the essays for you to lay out your plan for, a year and a half at Penn, although you can, but just that you have an understanding of the university and the program and what you can accomplish here. And essays should be well written, especially if you're going to be taking classes that involve writing papers. So that is what I have to share, but I am going to open this up to Q&A. So please feel free to ask questions here or call us or email us, and we will be able to assist you. All right, thank you so much and have a great day.